It is 12 after 9 o'clock. Welcome back to the second hour of News and Views right here on Salam Media. We are now going to be joined by Major Thabo Sello. He is going to talk to us about a joint operation between SANDF and the US military. It's a joint military exercise in Kwa-Zulu Natal. Let's find out what is the purpose of an exercise of this nature. How does it support and help South Africans as a country, and what benefits are we hoping to see? A very good morning to you, Major Thabo Sello. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to your listeners as well.
Nice to have you on the show, and it's wonderful that the SANDF puts out these type of releases in the public, so at least we know what the SANDF is busy doing, because sometimes we forget that you guys are around because you're so invisible. So tell us the reason for this particular exercise.
Okay, what did the South African National Defence Force and we will be conducting a joint and the multinational peace support operations and humanitarian relief exercise with the US. We could normally call the Southern European Task Force Africa, which is the US Armed Forces, to take place from the 5th until the 30th of July 2022 in and around Richards Bay in KZN.
So what exactly is going to happen during this exercise, and how many personnel from both sides, the Americans and the South Africans, will be involved in the exercise?
Okay. With the American side, I cannot be, so I'm not on liberty to indicate their numbers, but actually we have an element from the SA Air Force, and that will be assisting the exercise with the air transportation and helicopters asset for our landward forces, which are the airborne infantry that will be working, training alongside with the Americans. And that is mainly for what you call a peace support exercise. And we also have another leg which is called a humanitarian relief, whereby it involves South African military health services, practitioners, nurses, dentists, vets, that will be going in and around Richards Bay area to local clinics and providing primary health care, dental, veterinary, and so forth.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm referring to the second part of your response, which is the peace support operation, where humanitarian relief exercises will be undertaken by the SANDF medical team. Is this the first time you're doing something like this? And is it due to the fact that our resources on the ground is very limited? That is why SANDF has to step in to go and offer the support.
This is not the first exercise. Actually, the fourth one that we're having. We had one in 2011, 13, and 2017. We actually is a biannual exercise that normally take place. We were supposed to have one in 2020, but due to the outbreaks, of COVID-19, we had to suspend the exercise.
Okay, how many personnel are involved here? And because you seem to have it every 2 years, does that in fact close the gap of lack of these services in the general community for you to come on board?
Not necessarily. We normally we're having it in different provinces, like the Eastern Cape. And we had one in the Northern Cape in Lohata at our SA Army Training Combat Center. And this time around, we are in Richards Bay. And remember, we also it is also involved other State Department like Kwa-Zulu Natal, Provincial Health, which also assist us in informing us especially the scarcity in terms of the health support in the area. That's why we in this area to assist where we possibly can.
Okay, what sort of feedback do you then give to civil society, or your partnership with the health services, the health department, I should imagine? Do you then outline gaps that you've picked up in while servicing these different areas? I'm trying to understand what more can come out of something like this, and it's great that the SANDF gets involved with civilians in a very supportive humanitarian relief operation.
Yes, we normally we went to introduce the municipality. We'll be also going to Tuba and in and around municipalities as well, going to the local clinics, trying to provide assistance, especially where they are, primary healthcare is a challenge, and which also
Mm.
yeah.
Do you see this as becoming a permanent fixture? Because there does seem to be uh, a gap in primary healthcare clinics, not only in rural areas, but even in the
Yeah.
metropoles. So, is this perhaps one of the ways to close those gaps, the shortages of enough skilled medical professionals to service, the growing majority of people in, throughout South Africa?
I cannot say specifically as a way of closing the gap, but it is something which we as a SANDF, we are also assisting in that regard. But wherever the shortages, we do assist. Remember, even prior to the exercise, we've been asking other government, specifically the Department of Health, with regards to COVID-19. So it is not the first time that we are doing something like
Yes,
this.
absolutely. Okay, so Major, talk to me about, once these type of exercises are done. Number one, how many personnel are involved? And number two, how long will the exercise last for? Will it be a couple of weeks or a couple of months or just a couple of days?
The exercise actually started on the 5th, and it will end on the 30th of July. And
Right.
in terms of the number of personnel, like I said, I'm not in liberty to be able to give numbers at this present moment, because I feel in terms of the Americans are also coming with their main forces, of which we still need to look into that as well. That's why I'm
So
not
you're not at liberty to give me numbers.
yes at this present moment. Yes.
Okay, I'm wondering, we hear from time to time about fires, floods, etc., all around the country. We do know that with the floods in KZN, the SANDF did make a presence and were supportive to the best of their ability. Will this be almost a regular feature? God forbid, when we do have disasters of any form, would SANDF then step up and assist the civilian community with whatever disaster they're looking at?
With regard to what you just mentioned now, assisting with regard to flood, the side of the SADF is called an operation that we call Operation Charlie, and that is basically meant for such things as disasters. We'll definitely assist our citizens with regard to issues of floods. But it is a permanent thing that we normally have. Whenever such thing arises, then we also come to assist. So
Okay, I've just had a caller wanting to know if the SANDF, and I'm not sure if you're able to answer this question, if the
mm.
SANDF does regular recruiting. What sort of qualifications do you have to be able to enter the SANDF? I should imagine matric is a priority. Um, how regular is the recruiting done, and where are the recruiting stations for people wanting to join any branch of the SANDF?
Okay. It is not my field in terms of human resources, but all I can say is that every year, especially December to end of January, we normally release forms for people to apply in terms of different services like the Army, Air Force, Navy, and South African military health. And yes, the grade 12 is a requirement, and they look into the type of subject that the person did, and they refer them to the relevant fields that they can undertake in the SANDF.
Okay, anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap up on this interview?
Uh, at this present moment, I can say that yes, this is a manual exercise. It will also take place every 2 years. So the business should start to understand that this is take place. It normally takes place. Not something new that we are doing. And so like I said, the good part, I enjoy also the most is the humanitarian part that we assist the local population with whatever assistance that we can provide from the SAPS.
And these exercises that you undertake in partnership with the United States Armed Forces, is it only with the US Armed Forces, or do you have enter into other partnerships with armed forces from possibly other parts of the world, maybe British, whichever other Chinese, etc., etc.? Or is this a an agreement that is long standing with the United States?
This is actually an agreement that has been long-standing. It started in 2009, whereby the Military Command Council approved this particular
Okay.
bilateral agreement with the US.
All right, this is truly a part of South African life that we're not familiar with at all. And I think that the SNDF should do lots more road shows for us as South African civilians to understand your role in protecting our country and also the opportunities available for young people in the SND. If I do understand, you do employ lots and lots of young people, you have a huge force there, so perhaps more road shows are what needs to happen. Thank you indeed for your
Okay.
time. And
Okay.
undoubtedly, as we speak, I should imagine that the exercises, this joint exercise with you and the Americans, is rolling out very smoothly.
Yes, yes, indeed, it's rolling out smoothly, and yeah, we are hoping for the.
Great stuff. Thank you for being with us on the show today. Major Thabo Sello from the SANDF talking to us about South Africa and the US of America, obviously executing a joint military exercise in KZN. And the nature of this exercise is peace support operation and humanitarian relief exercises. So good on the SANDF. That's it from
Yeah.
that interview. Thank you for your time. It is 25 after 9 o'clock. This is News and Views on Salam Media.